Go get a mic.
Hi everybody, my name is Mike Ewall. I'm the founder and executive director of Energy Justice Network. We're a national group based here in Philadelphia. I live in Council District 7, Lozadas District, working on getting her to support the Stop Trashing Our Air Act. I got involved in this issue back in 1991 when fighting incinerators back then in Bucks County, where a lot of my family is. And it was in 1994 I got involved in helping people in Chester fight that incinerator and many other instances of environmental racism throughout Chester. In 2021, I wrote the Stop Trashing Our Air Act, and I'm honored that Councilmember Gaudier has chosen to prioritize and champion this bill as she has so well. I want to address some of the major concerns that we're hearing from those who are hesitant to support this bill, particularly the fact that the Mayor Parker's Department of Sanitation is talking about wanting to study whether landfills or incinerators are, which one is better. And yet, they want to study this now because they don't like the results of the best study that could be done on this topic. This study has already been commissioned by Delaware County several years ago, about a handful of years ago. It was completed in 2023, so this is fairly recent. And this study was more relevant to Philadelphia's trash than to Delaware County's trash, because they didn't have data on Delaware County's trash. They had data on Philadelphia's. They used that. This is a study of Philadelphia burning its trash in Chester versus using landfills. And that study said that it's 69% worse for the climate, but in terms of the local impacts of what we feel, in terms of asthma, cancer, and other impacts, heart attacks, strokes, birth defects, learning disabilities caused by this air pollution that we breathe, is 23 times worse to use an incinerator and then landfill the toxic ash than to just go straight to the landfill without burning it first. But somehow our Department of Sanitation isn't happy with the results of that because it doesn't say what their preconceived belief is, that incineration somehow wastes to energy and magically turns bad things into good things. Well, it doesn't work that way, and we have science to show it, and they need to just follow that science, which is why we're all here, because we know this is doing more harm, and we don't want to breathe this stuff. We also know that landfills impact far fewer people because they're located in places that are not across the railroad tracks from people's homes.
Amen.
I know the people, I should say knew the people who lived across the railroad tracks from the incinerator in Chester, like Carmen Santiago with her 6 grandchildren who lived there, her young granddaughter on an oxygen tank that she had to walk around with because she couldn't breathe without it. And yet, the landfills are, in the main one that we use, there's no one living within about 2 to 3 miles. And that's in Bucks County. They put it in an area where it's pretty insulated from people. We also know that this incinerator, incinerators in general, the ones we use are impacting far more people, but also more people of color and more poor people, which is just wrong, which is why we call it environmental racism. The other main talking point is, well, what is the alternative? As if we haven't been talking about this for years. We have alternatives. We have them already in the city. We have multiple trash transfer stations that are able to take this trash from 3 small trucks onto 1 big truck and truck it out of the city to landfills that we have in more rural areas that impact far fewer people. There's a company that is already in the process of bidding. Maybe their bid's already in, I don't know. But they have the capacity to take more than the amount of trash that is currently going to these incinerators under the current ReWorld contract. And so there's no question that the alternatives are already in place, that the bids are already on the table or about to be in the next 7 days. And that leaves the jobs argument. Some have said, well, aren't people going to lose their jobs? And there's a union squawking about this as if that is a major issue here. The reality is that only 14% of the waste going to the incinerator in Chester would be impacted by this bill. That incinerator has operated for many years under 86% capacity. So they didn't shut down from that, but all of a sudden the unions are like, we're going to lose all our jobs, the whole plant's going to shut down if 14% of our trash goes away. Well, that's a bunch of bull. But the other incinerator where just 1/10 of that amount of waste goes, which is in Plymouth, the biggest air polluter in Montgomery County, also a real world incinerator. We're only talking about taking 4% of their trash away, so they'll survive too. So they're not going to lose jobs. It's not like the jobs scale with the amount of waste anyway, so you take 14% away of about 100 jobs, they're not going to lose 14 jobs. They're probably not going to lose any at all, but maybe a few. But we're going to gain more jobs by switching to landfill and the transfer station in the city that's unionized, unlike ReWorld's transfer station in the city that's not. And so we're going to get more Philly jobs, more union jobs in Philadelphia by doing this. And yet, those are Teamster jobs. Teamsters are 3 times bigger than the unionized squawking about it, so we might want to listen to what they would have to say about it. So, let me see, I think I covered that already. So it's reasonable and important public health and environmental justice thing to be doing. We're going to be bringing this to Mayor Parker to make sure that she changes her tune on this. And we just ask you, with Valentine's Day tomorrow, to please support the Stop Trashing Our Air Act, because we love clean air. Thank you.
Good job, Mike.